Okay, you're looking at about 4 pounds of gooseberries, basically what they call tipped. So I don't take too much of the tip off, I just make sure that the flower blossom is off and the stem is off. It's kind of the same process we did with the currants, the red currants, where we're going to be boiling them, but instead of actually removing the fruit and straining it, we're actually leaving it all to be processed into making jam. So right now we're looking at about 4.2 pounds of gooseberries, and it'll be to 4.2 pounds of sugar, so basically half and half. Now again, because these berries have high pectin, I do not need to add any commercial pectin to this. I just need to make sure that I use 1-to-1 ratio sugar to gooseberries. And there we have it. So basically that bag of sugar. What I'm doing first is taking my gooseberries and I will start them on high. I'm going to opt to do a half a cup of lemon juice. Usually a half of a lemon has about 1/4 of a cup of juice in it. So now it's just going to come up to temp, start to break down, and then begin to burst and become sort of like a syrupy kind of juice that we'll then add the sugar to and process all the way through. And you can see some of them are already starting to soften and burst. Some people take this, instead of doing this step, they put the berries in like a food processor, and kind of like you would when you're making like blackberry or strawberry or anything, you kind of mush in the berries ahead of time. All it does is make the cooking time faster, but to me it's just making more dishes, so I opt for the easy way. Now this is actually going to be a double batch, and this is something you can't usually do with commercial pectin either. You're better off making a batch at a time. This you're actually making a batch, double batch, because it's got the pectin in it. It's natural, so as long as you have the sugar to berry ratio correctly, you can put as much as you want in it. This will probably maybe yield 10 to 11 half pints. I could be wrong, it could be a little bit more. Now here again, you want to make sure you have your sugar ready to go. The water bath is ready to go. I have my pint filler, my little funnel that I use, my ladle, kind of like the tools of the trade. The jar grabber is what I call it. It probably has a scientific name somewhere. And you can see the juice starting. Now we're at the point where I'm just going through, helping some of the berries along by kind of using my potato masher. And I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably put them through the food mill and not have any of the pulp and the seeds. I guess it's just a preference of what you want in your jam. Trial by error. So now we are mashed, and I'm going to be adding the sugar. We don't want this too much of a boil right now. We want it more of a combining and slowly mixing by adding the sugar. It makes it more of a clear color versus the cloudy of the actual pulp that was cooking. And then it's just letting it find its temperature again, and then it'll be stirring until the sugar reaches the point where again attaches itself to the pectin of the fruit and creates a gel, and then we will be ready to jar the jam up and water process. So what we're doing is we're tricking it into gelling by putting it on a freezer cold plate and then seeing if it wrinkles, and you can start to see it wrinkling. It's a little harder because this is more of a pale peachy color, but it's starting to, you can see it right there, the wrinkles, and that means it's reached its gel stage. So we've had our jars sterilizing. These are all warm. Can't say that I'm the cleanest canner. I do tend to splatter a lot, but it does not take away from the flavor of the jam. And don't let me fool you, these are extremely warm. Then after a while, I think you build up a tolerance to heat on your fingertips. So you learn not to hold too tightly. Well, now that that's taken out, we're waiting for the seals to seal. And that's that pinging that will actually be the suction that's created that brings the rubber down to the glass and makes it so you can put it away for anywhere from a year to 18 months. If it doesn't seal, then you can take everything out, redo it all. Yep, there you go. That's the little ping that we're waiting for. But a lot of times if something doesn't seal, then I'll just stick it in the refrigerator, and as long as you use it up within 3 weeks, it's fine. You just can't put it on the shelf to wait for it to be, to use it in 6 months or a year. That can go bad at that point. And that pinging is what every canner waits for. Kind of like music at the end of canning, that you know your jars are sealing properly. I was going to say, and that's a fruit-filled day when you figure we have 11 jars of gooseberry jam. So we'll have some great jams to give as gifts to use during the winter when we're kind of missing summer a lot. So there you have it. Heidi's been jamming again. That's kind of a pretty color.